I had given homework last week. Does anybody remember? And I was hoping that you would have done these questions in your own time. Some of you were not there. Murtaza Rizvi is here now. And I had given these uh, some questions to you, and I had hoped you would have answered everything. Give me a second, please. Sorry, you must be seeing me without any noise, but there was a situation which I had to deal with. So beg your pardon. Okay. And yeah, so anybody done those questions?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. You have Murtaza. So except Murtaza, you can all mute your mics, and Murtaza Rizvi is going to give us a short synopsis of what topics he's covered in his answers, and present to us his answers on the topics by telling us what questions as well that he's trying to answer. If anybody of you has any questions to Murtaza, please be prepared to answer questions from people and from me.
Sure.
Are you ready?
Okay. Adala. Question number 1.
Mhm.
Justice is putting everything in its proper place and giving it what it deserves. Question number 2. How is it that we sometimes make ourselves suffer? We sometimes make ourselves suffer through our own actions. We sometimes go through a problem and we blame Allah for an issue. Although this is often our response, it isn't necessarily the correct response. Allah doesn't always directly interfere in what is happening on this planet, but rather, many things happen as a course of ours or others' actions. For example, a man is being very hateful towards me. He is stealing from me and is even attacking me. I blame Allah for what is happening, but I do not stop to consider that perhaps he is being hateful to me because of what I myself did to him in the past. So Allah is actually fair. Question number 3. Suffering helps to build our character. Oh, sorry. Question number 3. Others cause suffering when they take someone else's haqq. This would mean that because of someone else's actions, I am suffering. So Allah is still fair. Suffering helps to build our character. It is like when someone gets a disease. After they have overcome their disease, they don't usually get it again. It is the same with humans. Once we experience suffering, we can't be hurt by the same thing again. Sorry, just one sec.
Mhm.
Question number 5. Suffering can bring us closer to Allah by searching for Allah in our time of need. When people suffer, they often look for their protector. Even an atheist does, although he may not know it. When a plane is on fire and is about to crash, all the passengers begin to panic and many begin to pray. They beg Allah to save them. And when you look at the atheist, even the atheist puts his hands together and looks up because he knows there is a power greater than him. So in conclusion, when suffering, we should not fret or get angry, but rather be patient, as if this suffering is because if this suffering is doing nothing else, it is bringing us closer to Allah, as long as we try.
Mhm. Okay. Anybody got any questions? Because I have. Murtaza, do you know any atheists?
Yeah.
And have you ever seen them put their hands together to pray to whoever they're praying when they're in trouble?
Um, not when they're in trouble, but when they often have a problem, they're not actually praying, but they they think it's something called hope. So not something called hope, but they hope for luck, and they just without knowing they are actually acknowledging that Allah is there, because every time someone is in an issue, they always like, oh, please let this happen, please let this happen. They're saying please to someone.
So they're saying to someone, but they don't know to who.
Yeah, so they're not actively understanding
Mhm.
that they're talking to Allah, but they
What do
actually
you
are.
think stops them from understanding?
Um,
Because
I
if
think
it's an instinct to just pray to some power, why do you think they stop
so.
understanding?
So some people, they're like willing to learn. Others, they're stubborn, and this could be because they have haram meat. Because haram meat makes you um, less open to the truth. So if people eat haram meat, then they would be less open to accepting the truth. And the few atheists who are open to religions, that would be because they were brought up in a good way.
Hmm. So it's it's haram meat is one of the big causes. What about having a haram vegetable? Can a vegetable be haram?
If it's like taken, stolen, then yeah.
Hmm. So basically, eating or drinking haram or ingesting it in any form, looking, whatever, talking haram, can all reduce the effectiveness of the soul, because what is happening is the soul is being subdued and suppressed due to the way we are behaving. We are letting our ego trump over our fitra. Well, thank you very much. Anybody else want to intercede and ask any questions? I'll give you 1 minute to think about it, and then we'll proceed from there. Okay, well done, Murtaza. Thank you very much for those answers that you took time off to do. I hope it increased and clarified your understanding of justice and adala even more. Okay, since there are no questions and I don't see any hands raised or any voices coming, we'll start with the lesson. I'm going to. Okay, ready. So we're going to talk about Nabuwa or prophethood today. As you can see, it's the next chapter in the book, and I will have the book open, but I'll whiz through it. And I know Iman is doing it for the first time, but Iman, if you have any problems, raise your hands. I will stop and address your issue. Don't feel shy, just raise your hands and stop me. Okay, anybody else who has not done the chapters before, please raise your hand or stop me in any way you want to, or stop me and ask me the question, because I will be going slightly faster, but not at the expense of you guys not being able to pick up what I'm saying, inshallah. Okay, all mics on mute, please. Yes, thank you. Okay, so Nabuwa. I guess we all Muslims understand what is Nabuwa, and Allah is one, as it says in your book, and it is He's He makes sure that we all have the tools to obey and understand His commands and have the proper method of worshiping Him for us to, achieve our own higher levels of situation in this life. And for that, what Allah does is He provides us tools. He provides us tools in the form of Nabi, Rasul. Nabi is somebody who is a bringer of news. If Allah wants to send us some news, or God wants to send us some news, He chooses one of His creation to bring that news to all the people. And that's how we get information about Allah's commands. Now, Nabi is somebody who brings news. Just remember that. Now, a Nabi has to have a few qualifications for him to be a Nabi so that people can believe him and trust him. First of all, he must be appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah wants to send some news, He will choose from or on His own who He wants the person to bring news to the people. Like, it's not like I can appoint somebody, say, okay, you go and bring some news from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or so a group of people get together and say, okay, let's appoint this person, or I'll be the one who will bring the news from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, it doesn't work like that, because I might have many fallibilities. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He doesn't want to give His news to somebody selected by the people, He won't. Allah will only give the news to whom He wants to be selected by Himself. That is the main thing about a Nabi. It has to be appointed by the Lord Himself. It doesn't work by anybody else. Now, then the next thing that you will find in the book is Isma. Isma is being error free. Doesn't mean that Allah protects him or stops him actively from committing sins, but this gentleman is actually somebody who is so aware of Allah and the knowledge of Allah's commands of right and wrong that he doesn't commit sins. He doesn't commit errors, knowingly or unknowingly. Now, this is a special grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is given on these people who have this quality of isma. A person who has isma like this is called a masum or a masuma if it's a woman. So, we all have certain levels of isma. All of us have certain levels of isma because, there is a certain thing of knowing what is right and what is wrong. We all have that in us. However, a person who is very aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whom Allah has given certain knowledge, he knows the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like you guys are looking at me, even better than that. Like you guys are looking at your own hands and feet. That's how clearly he sees the right from the wrong. Something which we might not consider, we might not know whether it's right or wrong. The Nabi or a person who has that level of isma can know it, and he can decide and so there's no way he or she is going to undertake that act or that word, because he or she will know the pitfalls and the problems associated with undertaking that act or word. So that is what is isma. Isma keeps that person, the Nabi, from doing anything wrong, which is, not something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would want. So the prophets have to be error free. Otherwise, it's hard for people to believe them. In the Quran, it is said that in the prophet you will find the best example to follow. So we must know that how come he's the best example? Because he does not make those errors that we normally associate with people. We don't associate our prophets from making those sins or doing any sins by mistake or knowingly. Let's get it right. So if he makes those errors, how will we know what to follow and what not to follow? That's the kind of thing that we have to consider. Allah makes him error free so that whenever that person says something, we know that he's saying the right thing. He's in the right frame of mind. He's not affected by any hallucinations or any waswasa from the shaitan. Waswasa meaning any whisperings from the shaitan or any, insinuations from shaitan. So we know that he's fully in control. He's giving us accurate information that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to know. Now, the two types of isma has been mentioned in the book. One is isma al-amma, the general isma which everybody has to some level. And the book gives the example of angels, because angels do not sin because they are made that way. They don't have any desires. It is not out of choice, but that's how they are made. They have got no desires. They just do what they've been told to do. However, human beings can have desires as well as choices. Animals don't make choices. They only have desires. So whatever, when they're hungry, they eat. If they have to kill, they kill to eat. So that's how it is. Human beings have the choices. They can make the choices, what is right and what is wrong. We have a certain level of free will, as you all know. So some level of isma is available on all of us. And that is why we can always strive to get higher in our levels of isma. But this kind of isma is available to most of us. All of us have access to it. Then you have the isma al-khassa, which is a special kind of infallibility. Well, I don't want to use the word infallibility because it has a very, very, big meaning and it can be misconstrued very many ways by other people. But you do use the word infallible. But what I want to use is they're all error-free. People who are like the prophets were error-free. And the 14 Masumeen of Islam from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam downwards, were all had a special kind of isma in which they did not make any errors at all. Now, the other prophets, apart from the 14 Masumin, did not make any errors, but they could make a choice which was lesser than the best choice, which is known as Tarkul Awla. And that is possible. But the 14 Masum, they don't even know, they don't even do that. They are very, very particular about what they do. Yes, Murtaza?
Um. So then, Prophet Adam,
Mhm.
Allah directly told him not to eat from that specific tree, and then Shaitan came and wasn't it a waswasa then that he whispered to Prophet Adam? And if it's like a direct command from Allah, doesn't it make it a sin for him to have?
Good question. This has been a question that has gone on for forever. The thing is, we don't consider that as being a sin. Allah did ask him, don't do it, don't go there, don't use that tree. But remember that time in that Garden of Eden or wherever it was, in that realm, there was no concept of telling lies at all. You know, Allah told him not as a command that if you do that, there will be this problem. That no, Allah said, don't go there. It's for your best. It's an advice, or don't go there. Explicit advice. Don't go. But he did go there. He made the lesser of the choices because there was no thing called lying. Nobody knew what was lying. Everybody spoke the truth, and it was Shaitan who was the first one, and Adam alayhi salam took that bait. And also, the Sharia was not there about the thing what was. This happened in this world when Adam alayhi salam came into this world, the Sharia was then practiced in this world about what is wrong and what is right, and what is sin and what is not, and what you have to do and what you don't have to do. So when Adam alayhi salam was there, he was not under obligation of a Sharia. Yes, there was a command of Allah, of which he chose the lesser option, because whoever gave him the suggestion, he could have thought, I'm just guessing here, I don't have any tafsir or anything, but I'm just saying that he could have thought this is actually a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who knows?
Yeah.
So the idea of lying, like we know, like anybody can make a joke and lie as well. You can say, oh, yeah, I saw you there over there with a smile, but you were not there, and you know that he's joking as well. But the other person who's joking with you is actually not telling you the truth. So that as one way of lying, and other people are blatantly lying everywhere, anywhere these days. So, well, not everywhere. People are prone to lying. We are aware people lie. So that's why we are very, accustomed to the fact that people can lie. At that time, there was no concept of lying. Nobody did anything like that, and all that wasfasa and all that thing was going to happen in the world, which Shaitan had taken permission from Allah, and Allah had given permission. What's going to happen in the world that he will sit on Sirat al-Mustaqim and try and deviate people from that path. Does this answer your question a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So carry on. So we talk about Isma al-Khas. Isma al-Khas is the one in which it is given to prophets and imams. So even the ones that there in the book, there's a slight bifurcation there, because as Murtaza's question was there at a very opportune time, where the isma of other prophets compared to the 14 Masumin was slightly different. The other prophets could commit Tarkul Awla, which is taking the lesser of the two choices available, although it's not a sin, but they'll take the lesser of the two choices. They can take that. Whereas the 14 Masumin would not even do that. That's one level of understanding Ismail Khas. Now, then the prophets were able to do mujiza. Mujiza means miracles. Now, what we don't understand in this world, we call it a miracle. Wow, how did that happen? That's a miracle, right? Of course, that's what the prophets could do. The Nabi could do that. Allah had given them the capability to do that. And we all know which Nabi did what and what Rasulullah did as far as miracles are concerned. So they could do the miracles, but nobody else could. The normal people could not do that. And that's what these people had in terms of the qualities that made them special people, so that people who were following knew that they could follow this person because he is special. He has a behavior where he doesn't do anything wrong, doesn't say bad, doesn't talk bad. You know, he is knowledgeable, he is brave, and he follows his convictions, which are truthful. He doesn't lie, and then he does things which are exceptional. Nobody else can do it. So miracles are called mojiza. So this is about prophethood, and you have the exercise at the bottom as well, and we'll go through that. Then let me come to Nabuwa. Iman, are you okay? Iman, am I going at okay speed for you? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, now make sure that I've just skimmed through the chapter fast because most of you know what is there in the book, but I would like you to read it and ask me questions. If just there's something that's sticking in there, please make a note of that question and write it down in the next class, or send it to my email through the host or whatever you want. Okay. Now, the next chapter is about imama. Imama has a few chapters, but we'll talk about general imama here. The first question is, people always say, oh, why do we need imams? What's the need for imams? We have the Quran, we have the Hadiths, we know about prophetic teachings. There's no need for imams. So there's no need. But the point is, if you look at it, flip the question right back and say, well, if there is the Quran and there is the Hadith and the Prophet was there for all of us, how come there are so many different thoughts and ideas about Islam? Why is it? Have the people not been following the same book? Of course they have been. So there are reasons that it's given in the book. You see, there's a need for religious guide all the time because human beings are, prone to diverge from what is true and what is not. And it is important that there is somebody who is actually there to keep the people united. Because if Quran and Hadith was sufficient, then there would be no divergence at this moment. And look at the number of divergent groups we have within Islam. And apart from Islam, there's so many religions out there. Because the book was always there. The book, Isa alayhi salam got a book. Dawood alayhi salam got a book. There were lots of books. Musa alayhi salam got a book. But people didn't follow. Even though, despite the fact that there were guides of the Prophet to make sure that some people actually followed the book. Not some, all people followed the book. But even then, people didn't follow the book. And that makes it very, very challenging for people to just follow a book in the absence of a teacher, of a guide. And if everybody was united in following a leader, then the book would be understood in a much better manner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent 124,000 prophets, not 5 or 10, 124,000 prophets. Yet, humanity is not guided in the right lines according to Allah's law. Why is that? Why is that Allah had to keep sending prophets after prophet? And after the prophet, if each prophet, there were some disciples of the prophet who continued the teaching. So Allah has always had this practice of sending people after his prophet. Prophet came with the message, and there were people who were out there to implement that message. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to keep doing it and doing it. And this is actually a kindness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the general guidance of all humanity. Because we need guidance to know how to worship Allah, or who is my God. What is there that we need to do to keep our God happy for our own salvation. So there's always a need which is called al-lutf of Allah, that Allah sends teachers and books. Both. If we all followed the book properly, then maybe Allah wouldn't need to send the teachers so many times and teachers students to implement what the teacher had taught about religion right from time beginning till now. So that's one of the reasons. There are many reasons given in the book. I'll just go through it slowly. uh, and then you can read the chapter. Then there's a need for safeguarding Islam. There has to be somebody who is not going to distort the religion. And Allah has taken a guarantee that this religion that He sent now from Rasulullah Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, wherever you are. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. So Allah has taken this guarantee that He's going to safeguard this religion. So how is He going to do it? Allah is not going to do it on His own. He's not going to come down here and sort it out. What He will do is organize a system where people will make sure, some people will make sure that the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is kept safe. And that is what He does through prophets and through Imran alayhi salam. So you see Muslims have so many cultures, somebody in the Far East, somebody in the Indian subcontinent, somebody in the Arab land. They all have their own cultures where they do stuff on their own. They have their own bent of that religion. They think that this is what needs to be done. Give me a second, please. Thank you. Thank you for the patience. So anyway, so what I'm saying is that there must be somebody who will make sure that the religion remains safe. And Imam Ali alayhi salam, as it says in the book, that Imam Ali alayhi salam says that Allah would never leave this earth without the proof of Himself. Somebody must be there in a human form to ensure that His representation, Allah's representation, is here. Whether the person is exposed as a leader or is in ghaiba, it doesn't matter. But there is somebody who is always there. So then there's a need for a socially and social and political leader. So this person who is Allah's representative must be astute in political matters. He must be just, so that you can make sure that people get justice and the governance happens properly. And like I said in Ali alayhi salam's sermon, that Allah's proof is always there. Well, Allah's proof is always there because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that there will be two things that He's leaving behind. Hadith al-Saqarah, two things. One is the book of Allah, and the other one is His family, Rasulullah's pure progeny. Rasulullah said this hadith many times, and at the time of His leaving this world as well. So Allah will always have a proof in this world, so that people don't start complaining that, oh, I didn't know, there was nobody there to tell me. Well, there was there, people were there always. People fought Allah's proof, Allah's representative, and tried to subdue Him all the time. But Allah's proof was always there. And this is something that we need to be in a position to follow. That there is Allah's proof always. And if Allah's proof is not explicitly available to us, like now, like the Imam is hidden, then there's a certain system in place where the proof of Allah, who is not actually visible to us, is being followed through teachings, through teachers like scholars who are extremely knowledgeable and pious, who have a lot of conviction. So that's one of the reasons. Then you have somebody who you need to have somebody who's always connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that the people who are there are always there to connect Allah, Rasulullah to the people. Rasulullah gave us a new book, He gave us the new laws, and those laws are going to be there forever, inshallah. But there has to be somebody who has to be connected to that, who can tell us what the teachings are and explain to us what the teachings really mean. And that is one of these. It's like the heart, like the example given in the book. It's like the heart which pumps the blood so that the whole body can survive comfortably. And Imams also need to have qualities, certain qualities. One of them is Isma. Isma means they have to be error-free. They cannot be making errors or sins. Because if an Imam is somebody who is making mistakes like anybody else, then why would somebody follow him? What's the point in having a person who, as a teacher, who makes mistakes all the time? How can the student learn? Why would the student want to follow him or her? I haven't seen any hands go up, so I'm assuming it's all okay. So, okay, I'll keep continuing. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Now, so the Imam does not make mistakes because it is again a lutf, a grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he doesn't make mistakes. He's able to discern what is right and what is wrong, like he can see the back of his hand. It's not that Allah stops him. He wants to do sin, but Allah says, no, no, don't do it. It's not like that. He can sin like any other human being, but he knows the he has the disdain for the sin. He's clear about the sin so well that he just cannot bring himself to doing that act or to saying those words, or behaving in a certain manner, because that is what is called qabih. That is quite horrible, quite detested. So he will not do anything qabih. Allah has a special grace on them. Again, similar to what the prophets have, where they have so much knowledge of these goodnesses and badness of doing good deeds and bad things that they know exactly. It is clear to them in front of their eyes. How can I do this? Because a lot of people say, "Oh my God, if I say the truth, I'll go and get into trouble, and then it won't be good for me. So let's lie." But we don't see the what we are doing, the error of lying. We don't see the depth of it. Just as an example. So what these imams have is that their awareness of the righteousness of acts, and one leader who commits sins cannot be followed. Quran says that. So the leader himself, if he's making mistakes all the time, he will be in need of guidance, and so on and so forth, until we reach one person who does not commit errors, and he does not need the guidance like other people, and he can guide on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is what it is. It is important that imams have to be error free. And again, it is a grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that he leaves us with certain teachers who are, free from these kind of problems, so that other people can learn from him and be able to implement the book that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought in for all of us. Then this person needs to be the most knowledgeable person available. Because if he is not knowledgeable, then how can he understand what the Quran is saying? He should know all the sciences of the Islam. He should know every answer to the questions that people can ask. And if he does not know and somebody else knows, then that somebody, why would that somebody follow this person? If he claims to be Imam, then he has to be knowledgeable. He has to be the most knowledgeable. And the Imam has to be better than all other people in all good qualities. You have generosity, you have piety, you have bravery, you have knowledge, you mentioned justice, whatever qualities, good qualities you can think of, that Imam has to be the best of the world. Because if he's not the best, if somebody is better, why would that better follow this person? It's the same logic. That Imam has to be the best, the afzal, the tafzeel, as it says in the book. The Imam needs to have tafzeel. He is afzal than everybody else. He's better than anybody else, because it is incorrect for a person who is inferior to be followed by somebody who is superior in certain qualities. And that is the important thing. Then an Imam needs to have zuhd. What is zuhd? Zuhud is something which is which is free from the love of the world. His ideas, his actions and intentions are not guided by the love of the world. For example, let me give you this example. If I say, "Oh, I want to teach some students, about Islam," mashallah, mashallah, very good. You're taking your time to teach people, very good, mashallah. But my intention is, if I teach, I'll be known as a good teacher. I'll be well respected in society. My intention is not actually for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's actually to get the love of the people, to be known as a good person in society. That is not zuhud. That is the love of the world. This is just one example. So everything that we do, our intention has to be right. Whether we're starting a new madrasa, whether we're starting a new app, whether we're starting a anything, a school or a hospital, whatever, if it is for your own gratification, we know that this is lack of zuhud. This is the love of the world. If we say, okay, let me create this app which will help people and it'll make me money, lots of money, I'll be famous. Okay, fine, it'll do that. But it's not zuhud. Zuhud is something which is not for the sake of the world. It is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't mean that you cannot like the things of the world. Just remember one thing. Zuhud does not mean that you're not liking good things of this world. It's about being enraptured so much by the goodness of this world that you actually do things for the goodness of this world only. Give me an example of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Imam Hassan alayhi salam was known as having the best banquet in Medina. His what he called his dining table or his dastarkhan was always open to everybody. You wanted to come in and eat some good food. Whenever he was anybody needed food, Imam Hassan's place was available during his time. But that didn't mean that Imam Hassan was eating all the good food himself and was showing off to people. Look, I give food to so many people. He was not. He was doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is a zahid. A zahid is somebody who does something for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, if he chooses, he can also have a good lifestyle. He can also have use the benefits of this world. It's not a problem for a person to do that. But just to do it for the sake of having favors on other people think that you're good, you're pious, you're rich, you're so nice. That's not zuhud. Okay. Another thing that the imam must have also is mujiza. Mujiza is, again, he should be able to do certain things which nobody else can do. He should be able to perform what we call miraculous or a miracle. If an imam cannot do a miracle, then he might not be an imam. So this kind of a capability of mujiza actually ensures that nobody else in the whole community can do that, and that people know that this person is special. So imams are capable of doing mujizat or karamat. In both cases, you translate it in English as miracles. So they can do special acts, special situations can arise due to the action of an imam, which nobody thought this would possibly happen. And we hear so many stories of our imam's capabilities. Imam Raza alayhi salam in Nishapur, when he struck foot on the soil, water started gushing out. Even now the water is coming. So that something was not, it was miraculous. How can that happen? Anybody can strike a foot and get water out of the earth? Doesn't happen. You have to dig and dig and dig, go to the well, deep down and create a well, and then you put a pipe in there or a tube well or whatever you do, depending on the technology that is available at that time. Or you lay pipes and then only, water can come around. But seeing somebody just smack the earth with their feet and water starts gushing out, this is amazing. This is miraculous. This is what imams are able to do, is just as an example. Then the appointment of the imam is always through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People do not elect imams. We don't elect. There is no election. There's always Allah's nomination or Allah's selection. And Allah does it through Rasulullah. Either he does it directly or through Rasulullah. But Allah always appoints imam through Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there are hadiths to say Rasulullah had actually mentioned the names of all the 12 imams, after him, who will maintain this religion of Islam, who should be followed, who are divinely appointed leaders. And it's not just in Shia hadith, it's in Sunni hadith as well. So, and each imam was appointed by the previous imam. The preceding imam actually told his close people who the next imam is going to be. So always the appointment was through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the coming imam was announced by the previous imam through Allah's guidance. That's what it was. So this is the basic thing about imama. Everybody clear? Has anybody gone to sleep yet? Are you all there? Unmute. Let me hear your voices. I got some chat message. Okay. Okay, Muhammad Ali, thank you. Right. So, anybody else who has fallen asleep? Maybe you all have fallen asleep apart from Muhammad Ali. Who knows?
I'm here.
Okay, Murtaza, I can hear your voice. Right. And the next chapter is about specifically about the 12th Imam. Now, this is there. I'm not going to be okay. Thank you, Muhammad Ali. Uh, yeah, the next chapter is about the 12th Imam, which I'm not going to go through now because the living Imam is we're going to discuss it in more detail, and I want to talk about it so that we can learn more about our 12th Imam. But let me say this, that the 12th Imam is not just a Shia thing. Imamat is not just a Shia thing in any case. People don't follow the Imam generally, but there is an acceptance that there are Imams. There might be discussions on who is the Imam, who was the first, who was second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. But there is no discussion whether there is Imam or not. You might call them Khalifa, you might call them Amir, whatever you want. But there's always a thing about following an Imam. The Quran says that Atiullah wa Atiur Rasul wa ulil amri minkum. Now, till the Rasul is fine. Everybody wants to obey Allah. Everybody wants to obey Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And according to the Quran, everybody must follow the ulil amr. Ulil amr means the people who are in command, the people who should be listened to. The difference lies in who are the ulil amr, who should be followed. That's the discussion, and that's where the dispute is. It's not about whether we should follow or not. There is always a discussion in Sunni groups, in the different groups of religious people in Sunnis, where who the 12 people were after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and some strange names are there. But there's always dispute in that. There's only one group of people, which is the Shia Ithna Ashari, which says the 12 people, the names are there, they've been always there. So that's the one group of people who are very sure who the 12 people are. And the 12th is in Ghaiba. Our Imam is in Ghaiba. Ghaiba means he's present. He is aware that you all are learning. You all are learning about him. I'm trying to impart whatever I know a little bit so that we all can follow him and be his servants in a better manner so that we are better servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's no discussion in that whether there is imam or not. Whatever name, whatever, there might be some differences in nomenclature, whatever. But there is leadership after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the books of hadith are full of that. Then about the 12th Imam or the Imam who is going to come to save this world, there is very much clarity on that. There is no doubt that people believe, Sunni, Shia, even non-Muslim believe that there is a Messiah that's going to come and save the world. Who it is going to be? Some challenges there. For example, Shia Sunni, they know that he is from the progeny of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he is Ibn Zahra salamullah alayh. He's from the daughter of the Holy Prophet. He's from that lineage. Shia Itna Ashari say, oh, he's been there for 1386 years. But he's been in Ghaiba for most of that time. Ghaiba means he's been not visible to us. He's not taken the reins of government actively. But he's there. He's guiding us through his own channels. Allah has made systems through him so that we keep learning. We keep doing our acts of, our ahkam to follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sunni, well, he's not yet here. He's going to be born. But his lineage is going to be of Rasulullah's children. That much also is pretty similar. But he's not born. That's the issue. Although Sunni writers have written, I had a list once, I think there were 80 authors who had written about the fact that the 12th Imam is alive. He was born. He was born. And also, if he is not alive, if he's not around, that means that Allah's Hujjah is missing in the form of a person in this world, which will make Rasulullah's hadith of Thaqalain incorrect. And Rasulullah Auzubillah never lies. He never. He was known as Sadiq and Amin, so there's no problem there. Okay, there's a question from Muhammad Ali. So do Sunnis have people who say they are Sayyids? Yes, Sunnis are loads of Sayyids. I don't know, maybe more Sayyids in Sunnis than in Shias because there are a lot of population. There are lots of political reasons, Muhammad Ali, why these things became like Sayyids become Sunnis in the present time. Political reasons and fear and taqiyya, and after a few generations of taqiyya, you lose your values, all that stuff. So you got to be very careful, you know. But there's a lot of thing has to be from how the ummah was dealt with by the rulers who were there, who wanted to put the notion of imama down, who wanted to put the notion of, you know, the progeny of Rasulullah down, because they were scared, because they knew that there was going to be somebody who was going to come and establish justice and take away all the inequity and the injustice that was there in the world. So they knew that, and that's why all these rulers were scared of it. And anybody who had any sympathy or had any affinity towards Rasulullah's progeny was dealt with very severely. It happened in all the time in the Umayyads, the Abbasids, in the Mughals, in the Ottoman. You know, there was not much that was leeway given to the progeny of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there are Sayyids in Sunnis, and many of them, not just hundreds. You're talking about thousands and thousands of Sayyids, both in Shia and Sunni. Which is why I'm just digressing a little bit from the topic, because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Surah Al-Kawthar, Inna Atayna Kal Kawthar. Kawthar comes from the word kasra, which means abundance. And one of the interpretations or one of the explanations of Kawthar is that Kawthar is, Allah said, I've given you Kawthar. It's not that I will give you later on or after you die or anything like that. He said, I've given you Kawthar. Because, you know, people used to taunt Rasulullah that he doesn't have any children because his sons used to die in infancy or a little bit grown up a little bit and they would die. So people used to taunt him that, you know, his lineage is going to be cut off. He'll be abtar. But Allah tried to reassure Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that don't worry, I will give you Kawthar. I have given you Kawthar. And Kawthar, one of the explanations is the people in Rasulullah's progeny through his daughter. There are more Sayyids than you can find of any other clan. Alhamdulillah. Many of them don't behave or take responsibility the way they should, the way we should actually take responsibility of being a Sayyid. Because when you come from a more respectable family, you have more responsibility. It's not like, okay, you're going to strut yourself out there like, you know, I am the boss and, you know, you all follow me. Whatever I do. No, that's not that way. We have more responsibility to act in a way that we have a lineage of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of the Imams. So we have to be very careful how we talk, how we come across in public, you know, how we dress, how we speak to other people, how we treat other people in, you know, in the workplace, in schools, how we deal with people in business. No cheating, always being generous, always being mild, always being, you know, liberal. If somebody makes a mistake, you know, it's hard, but you know, you let them go. So if we have to show mercy to others, so if we expect mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyway, the point is that the dispute is not about the fact that the 12th Imam will be there. He will rid the world of justice before this world ends. And if you read the chapter, the next chapter, which I'm not going to go into detail now, I'm just giving introductions here, is the fact that the lesson 2 in the section of Imama. This is the lesson, as you can see on the screen, I hope, that, you know, which says that even if there is one day left for this world to survive, Allah will send the 12th Imam on the night before. He'll have one night to come in and he will establish the justice. It's just as an example that is given. So the 12th Imam will come and we all have to prepare, because we as Shia Itna Ashari have got no excuse for not following the 12th Imam and not following the religion of Islam properly. The less excuse we have, that means the more questioning there'll be on the end time. And we do not want that to happen, because questioning and Allah's justice can be very severe if you have made a lot of mistakes. If you make less mistakes, our questioning, our day of judgment will be easier. And we should be in a position to be given the shafaat of the Masumi. Shafaat of the Masumi will not come on people who neglected their teachings, who never wanted to follow them. We say, I love you, Imam Hussein alayhi salam. I love you. If I was there, I would have died for you. The Hussein of our time is here. What are we doing for the 12th Imam? Think about these things. These are the most important things we need to consider. We have all the goodness that our parents have given us, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us through our parents, through our teachers. We have to act properly. People will make mistakes, but we have to be aware that we have made mistakes and we have to rectify them all the time. Okay, that was my lecture. You're free to ask any questions, and any questions you have, please feel free. Okay, what is another one from Muhammad Ali? Will the 12th Imam come when we are enough Shia to truly support him, or when injustice and corruption is at his peak? Now, injustice and corruption will be very, very high. And also, there will be enough supporters of the Imam. So it's not about, we are very, very casual in using the word Shia. So we define it as Shia is somebody who follows Imam Ali alayhi salam, right? Follows is the very, very crucial word. You and me, hand on heart, can we say that we are following the Imam alayhi salam? If Imam Ali alayhi salam came here today, what will he say? Will he look at us and say that, oh, he's my follower? That's the question. By words, of course. Oh, yeah, Imam Ali alayhi salam, I'm your follower. By words, of course, we're all, very, 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 very quick to say we love Imam Ali alayhi salam. Well, I don't know many Sunnis who don't love Imam Ali alayhi salam. I don't know, in fact, even one Sunni that who says, no, I don't like Hazrat Ali Razi ta'ala anhu. They all respect and love him. Okay, fourth caliph, whatever. But they all respect and love Imam Ali alayhi salam. So what's the difference? What's the difference between you and me calling myself the Shia of Imam Ali? Shia is a very, very strong word. It means a follower. We might be lovers, and that too by word, but we are not followers. Love always has to come with obedience. Remember my dear brothers and sisters. If there's no obedience in love, it's not actually real love. It's all make believe. So when you say you love somebody, you do things for you. You see at home how you do things for your family, how you do things for your mom, how mom does for you, how dad does things for you, how mom does for dad, how dad does for mom. Because there's love. We all listen to each other. We try to make this a smooth process of the family running. So saying that I love Imam and not doing what he asked us to do is a huge problem. Big problem. It doesn't make us too different. Apart from the fact you go chest beating on the day of Ashura, on Muharram and Safar, okay, that's one way of doing it, expressing it. But does that actually change our hearts and our minds? Does that make us better people, or does it just show to people like, listen, I'm different from you. I show my love to Imam Hussein al-Islam because I go, doing matam and majlis. The point of majlis and matam that it has to create change within us. That's the whole idea. And that was, well, I'm digressing now a lot. I'm trying to give you an akhlaqi lesson here, but the lesson was the faqaid of nabuwa and of imama. So I hope it is clear to you. If you have any more questions, please feel free, and you can undo your mics and you can ask questions as well. Anybody wants to write their questions, please do that as well. Shefara, Saba, Rayan, haven't heard from you. Please ask your questions on type if you don't want to talk. And Muhammad Raza Shah, did you get an email with the website address last time? You can speak, Muhammad Raza.
No, we didn't.
Oh, I actually asked. the admin to send you. Okay, let's
Let me
try.
double check.
Yeah,
Wait. Yeah, we didn't.
you didn't?
No.
Okay. Can you see the screen that I'm typing? See the screen that's coming up?
No.
What do you see on your screen from my screen?
Lesson 2,
Oh, is that all you see?
11 and 1. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to go to the website to give you the link now. Shop. Okay. Right. I think I found it. Okay. Murtaza has given the link in any case, and he's given the link for the book 7 exactly. Oh, I've sent it to Mahek Zahra Shah. I was meant to send it to everybody. Yes, Murtaza, thank you very much. Okay, any questions, any discussions? Nobody's saying anything. Go on, type away. I can't see any questions coming in. Muhammad Raza, can you see that link that Murtaza Rizvi has posted?
No.
No?
Hold on. How do I check?
Achha, let me get this. Send it to you straight away.
Thank you, Marana.
Where are you? Muhammad Raza Shah. Muhammad Raza. Now? You
Yeah,
got a
now I
link?
have it.
You got it. Good stuff.
Yeah.
This is sent to you
Thank you.
from Murtaza Rizvi. Now just copy it.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Rizvi.
much, Murtaza. Okay. Anyone want to talk about anything? You can go ahead and talk. Rayan, Sabah Zaidi, Mehek Zahra Shah, all of you, if you have any questions, I haven't heard from you, so please go on, do it. Okay, Muhammad Ali. I was watching the Prophet Yusuf movie, and in one episode, the Prophet made a mistake, and as a punishment, uh, okay, he stayed in prison for extra. Yeah, I understand that one. Now, it wasn't actually a mistake. It wasn't actually a sin. What did he do? He just said that, just mention it to the king that I'm also here, so if he can leave. But this is the difference between normal people and a prophet. A prophet is so aware. Allah is in touch with him. It says you do not have the patience just to stay with me, just to do tawakkul on me or trust in me, and you have to ask this guy, the king. So, and he stayed in prison for extra 7 years. But were those 7 years, were they bad for Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam? He probably was able to do more good in the prison for himself and for the others who were there in the prison than maybe he was able to do outside at that particular time, because there's hikmah in everything of what Allah does. And that's why, yes, you can consider that as a mistake. You can always live with, oh, that was a sin, that was so wrong of a prophet to do that. Well, you can always take it like that, but it was something that he chose the lesser of the two choices. Tarkul Awla. Tarkul Awla is something, as I mentioned, that other prophets have done, where they've taken the lesser choice of the two choices available to them. And sometimes staying in prison can be a blessing, to be honest. We don't know what he was saved of. We don't know how many people he was able to talk to in the prison and change their minds about Deen, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It could be that. Because staying in prison for those 7 years after that, he later on became the Amir of Egypt. Did he not? Maybe that was a waiting time for him. Maybe, whatever was happening in there was for his development. Other people were being more ready for him. That this person who's there in the prison, has something special. So it doesn't mean that he made a mistake. He made the lesser of the two choices, which we call Tark ul Awla. Is that okay, Muhammad Ali? I mean, you can say Imam Qasim al-Islam stayed years and years in prison. So was that a blessing for him? Well, it was difficult times for him. But Imam Qasim al-Islam, he was very aware that whatever is there is a blessing. Because I remember Imam Qasim al-Islam, when he was sent into prison, he said, thank God, thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you put me, I asked you to give me a one-on-one time so that I could pray to you only and to connect with you only, and you put me in prison so that I could connect with you all the time. That was one way of a blessing, to see a blessing. It needs a very, very connected mind to see what is a blessing and what is not. Everything can be a blessing if we consider it. Many good things, what you consider good or we consider good, might not be a blessing if we don't consider it good. Anyway, okay. Another question from Muhammad Ali. Also, did the Imams know they would be killed, and how, if so, how come they did not prevent it? Okay. Yeah, having information or Allah giving them information about how they would die doesn't mean they could prevent their death, because everybody has to die. And the Imams looked forward to Shahada, and dying in the path of Allah was their thing to do. But that did not stop them from doing the duties. They did that very wisely as the time demanded how to do it. But it's not their job. Life and death is not their role. Death and life is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, they knew that they would be killed in the path of Allah because they were doing the job of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they knew that they were enemies. So does that mean that they can stop the death? Nobody can stop that. Because as a wise person, you know that if you go in front of a running train, you're going to be crushed. So you know that. The knowledge is there. Moving away and from the train is something that you can do. But if Allah has destined that you're going to be dying in front of the train, something is going to happen that you will not be able to move. Okay, if you get away from that time, maybe another time will come when the person who's destined to die like that will die like that. So knowing something doesn't mean that you can prevent it or activate something. It's in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you. Anybody else asking questions?
Regarding tafdeel, right? Superior in all qualities.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the Imams are perfect, completely perfect. So if they were
close to perfect, as can be, yeah.
If they were perfect, then that would mean that it's two. I have two sides to this. First side is that if they were perfect, then death would never come to them naturally, right? Because all of our Imams were shaheed. But the other side is that if they were perfect, then a human is designed to die at one point. So if they were perfect, wouldn't they end up dying anyways, a natural death? That's my two sides.
If I'm understanding your question correctly, Murtaza, let me ask you again. A perfect person in qualities is something that we all can develop a level of qualities that we can be considered perfect. Now, yes, the Imams were on a totally different level altogether in all kinds of qualities. Yes, they were. If there is anything close to perfection, I think it was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then the Imams. But what do you mean when you say that if they're perfect, then they were going to die and they knew that they were going to be shaheed, but they should have died a normal death? Did I understand you correctly? I don't know. Say again that
I
bit of
was
the
saying,
question.
what I was saying was that a perfect human,
Hmm.
it is in a human's like nature to.
Yeah.
So if the imams were perfect, then
Hmm.
they would be able to die a natural death because a human is designed to die at some point of natural
Hmm.
death.
The human is designed to die. Yeah, you're cutting off in the middle. Okay.
Oh, sorry. So a human is designed
Hmm.
to die at
Hmm.
some age of a
Hmm.
natural death.
Hmm.
But the other side to this is that if they were perfect, then they wouldn't be able to die because all of the imams were actually shaheed.
Hmm.
So none of
Okay.
them actually died a natural death.
Yeah, I think I'm getting it. Well, it's not necessary that a perfect person has to die a natural death. I mean, what is natural death? You mean to fall old, go old, and just stop breathing one day, and that's it? That's natural death, right?
Yeah.
So, as far as you're concerned, but maybe a natural death for them was that you die working in the path of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Somebody doesn't like what you do, and the natural death for them is to get killed in the path of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
difference between me and them. Because for them, a natural death is dying in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a human being, yeah, because you say they did not die because they died shaheed, so they have not died. But the ruh is always alive in any case, for everybody. Human beings, remember, there are two things, the body and the spirit. The body just wastes away after a certain time, but the spirit doesn't. It's always alive till it reaches point of perfection, which is in Jannah, inshallah ta'ala. So, and even in Barzakh, when the day of judgment hasn't happened, the ruh is being perfected through a lot of difficulties, depending on what actions we undertook in this world. So the ruh is being perfected in order that we get to that point where the ruh is able, has the capacity to take on Jannah. Because not everybody can take on Jannah. See what I mean? I mean, it's like something saying, if you give a worldly example, when you both two people study, one becomes a surgeon and one does something normal. Let's say no, well, surgeon is also normal, but when I say something regular, like you paint a car park, that's your job, or you paint board signs or whatever, that's also normal. But the one who is a surgeon has worked hard to become a surgeon, and that in world is considered a higher level of intellectual perfection than painting signboard. Both of them are great jobs. Both of them are important jobs. But being a surgeon is considered to be a higher level of perfection. So to get to that level of perfection, you have to undergo a lot more struggle to be able to get into body parts of people without getting overawed and knowing which one to do where, what to do where, so that he can rectify a disease. So that is what I mean by they're saying that we always have to make sure that our ruh, our spirit, is going through levels so that we are in a state that when we go into life after this life, this material life, we are in a position to accept what Allah has to offer in Jannah. Because ruh which are not ready for Jannah, it'll be hellish for them. It'll be their hell. That is how hell and heaven works. But I won't go into a deeper discussion than that. But the point is that we all have to develop ourselves to go into that level. More questions? Very interesting questions coming though.
Thank you.
Okay. People who are not speaking, are you enjoying the discussion? Heck, and
Yes, sir.
Rayan. Yeah. Yeah. Any more? Okay. Rayan Jafri said yes. Yes to what? No questions. Okay. Okay, good. Rayan says, yeah, he's enjoying discussion. Okay, any more discussion, points of discussion, please? Go ahead, ask me. If I don't know, I will tell you I don't know. I'll find the answer for you, inshallah. So shall we close the meeting? Okay, Muhammad Ali.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Muhammad Ali, are you there? Now, I want you to present something next week. What are you going to present on? Take one or two questions from one of the chapters that we've done.
Yes, sir.
Take a topic and explain to me and to the others when we come on
Yes,
next, inshallah.
yes, sir. Inshallah.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Take it upon. I don't want you missing their class because you will
Sir,
be
yes, sir.
presenting.
Yes, 100%, sir. May I ask, what do you have to say? Yeah, the two chapters.
The
Yes,
two
sir, no
chapters,
problem.
yeah, you can take up any topic you want or any of the questions that are there and then give us a presentation on the next Thursday, inshallah.
No problem, sir.
Okay, well done. Thank you very much all. Can we all recite salawat wherever we are so that we can close the class? Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. May Allah bless you all and accept your ibadah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.